Okay, so welcome to our activity 3, using technology to monitor student behavior. We're going to be discussing this, Megan, Jamil, and I.
So I will go ahead and share the class dojo screen share so that we can talk about that one. Okay, here we go.
So, Megan, do you want to, I guess there's no way for us to write on your dojo. I think I'm not really good with technology, so I'm not really sure how this, we can't access your dojo from our, like,
Ah,
this at the same time.
Yeah,
okay,
it looks like it's we're just sharing her screen so we can see what she does.
Hmm.
okay. Can you guys see me moving around my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Um, so actually, I explored Class Dojo, but I do not use it because I currently teach at the upper secondary or post-secondary level, so they I guess they wouldn't have to see it, but they probably wouldn't appreciate being little monsters.
Hmm.
Um, so I did explore it though, and I guess I can just kind of tell you guys some of the advantages that I found. Um, I thought that it was a great way here you can message to parents. Um, And I always think it's great to be able to keep parents informed. And you can also do your class story, which is essentially like the class blog or homepage. Um, so parents can follow that. I liked that it was accessible on a smartphone or a tablet, so you can easily carry it around the room or outside of the room. Um, I liked especially that you can track the student behavior, not just what they're doing at the moment, but you can look at you can look at what they've done over a week or the last few sessions, so that you can see maybe that they're having like behavioral problems specifically on Mondays or something like that, so that you can adjust how you approach issues with them. What do you guys think about it? What were some of the advantages?
Um, I do use it in my class. Um, I have it hooked up to the speakers in the classroom, so when that sound effect goes off, all the students hear it. Sometimes it is a distraction, especially when you click the negative one. Everyone wants to know who got it. Uh,
Mm.
but it's kind of like a reinforcement for the behavior. Like as soon as someone hears the either one, the good or the bad one, they're all reminded of their own behavior. Um, Also, I use it with my classroom economy too. So my classroom officers come up and I show them their all the students' records, and then they write out tickets based on what I've done on here, and then that'll affect the students how much money they have in the class. They get money for being good, of course, and they lose for misbehaving. So I kind of use it in combination with my own classroom economy. So it worked. I like it, and the kids like to pick out their own monsters. Um,
And what
and
grade do you teach?
sixth, seventh, and eighth.
Oh, okay.
And it's also useful because we do mock court, and they'll use evidence that I've recorded on the class dojo, like so and so did this at 1:23 p.m. on September 10th or something, and they'll use that as evidence in their cases. So it's good on its own, but it's also allows just the organization factor. It allows you to use it for a lot more than just the app itself.
I actually never used Class Dojo. I'm sorry for Because for us, I'm basically just an assistant now, and especially in the field of physical education, we don't really rely on this. It's more of designed for classroom setting, and in physical education, we don't really hand out a lot of assignments. It's more just physical stuff during class. We really don't have any like homework assignments, or we can't have the computer next to us to track behavior and so forth. So for me, this is relatively new. But yeah, I'm not really sure how I can use it in physical education apart from just keeping track of the activities we'll be doing for different grade levels and different seasons like swim season or I don't know, badminton season or something like that. So for me, this would be just an organizational tool rather than a way to interact with my students. Um, you know, that's how I would use it.
I like that it has it has that option to call on students randomly.
Oh,
I think for when I've taught elementary school in the past, there are some kids that just don't want to be chosen, and sometimes they'll just do anything to not be chosen. And so I like the idea that you just don't know if it's coming, so you can't have to go to the bathroom when your turn is possibly coming up. Um,
mhm.
and I like that it's an easy way to track attendance, and I think there was a timer, like a classroom timer built into there, so that looked like a useful tool also. But I was wondering, Jamil, if it's do you have it hooked up so that parents get the notifications?
No, the parents, most of them don't even have internet, so I just never bothered with it. I communicate to them with just phone.
Oh, okay.
And I don't feel comfortable having all kinds of information about people on the internet, no matter how secure they say it is. So I just have just their first names, and I just use the behavior part of it. I don't use the class story and put pictures and all that stuff.
Do the students think that it's pretty fair?
Um, I do get some complaints like, "Oh, you always pick on me and never them," and things like that. But I tell them it's just what I see. So if I didn't see them, then they got away with it. You got to be more sneaky next time. And and but it's just like I said, it just seems to help out to just remind them what's going on. They get sucked into their own little circle, especially during in group work or something. Then they hear the noise, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to be quiet," even though they weren't the one that got a ding or whatever. So and it kind of gets them to police themselves too, because they see someone get a minus or something, they're like, "Oh yeah, guys, we got to be good. Stop, or you'll get a minus." And or someone helps sweep the floor, and then others will try to do good things because they're like, "Oh, he got a plus, so I'm gonna do this too." So it helps a little. Even with the eighth graders, they still are concerned with their monsters points.
Right.
And so do parents use this class dojo? Is it a reliable communication tool um, with parents?
Jamil said that he doesn't use it for to communicate with his parents. I have heard from other like preschool teachers that they've used it and the parents um, really like getting the feedback.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, I never thought of using this random thing to call on people. That's a good idea. I usually use I just use a random number generator.
Okay. So they're all assigned a number, and then if their number gets called.
Yeah.
I actually checked out. I checked out Instant Classroom. Did you guys look at that one? Anybody?
No.
Um, you said you checked out Best Sand Timer and the Instant Classroom.
Yeah, I checked out Instant Classroom,
Mhm.
and it looks like it looks. Hold on, I'm looking at my notes here. Sorry. Um, it also has that option to call on students randomly. Um, but it looks like it's mostly used for like seating charts and making groups. So you just
Mhm.
enter in all the students' names, and then they come up on a screen like in blocks.
Mhm.
And so you can move basically desks around. And then you can go in and choose like, of all my students, I want to make 6 groups, and it'll randomly make groups of students.
Mhm.
So I thought that would be useful if you don't want students to always work with the same people. So I'm actually going to use that in one of my classrooms. But the disadvantage that I saw is that when it automatically generates those groups, you can't go in and say, like, actually, this student and this student shouldn't work together, so I want to move them out of groups. You just have to randomize again and hope that it doesn't put those students near each other. But it did look good for creating seating charts and groups, but I didn't see how it had many more advantages than like Class Dojo other than that option.
Well, that's weird. That doesn't give you the option to actually rearrange the seating charts.
Or I suppose you could work around it. Like you could make um, two separate instant classrooms. One with the people you don't want to be together, and one with the other half of the people you want to be together, and then use it. But
Yeah, it sounds like yeah, those would be good workarounds. But for me personally, if I'm gonna like go through the trouble of actually like using an app to simplify my life, I don't want to have to like use 3 different versions of it to get what I need.
yeah, I use the random number generator for that too, and then I'll just make the adjustments that I
Oh,
need
that's a good idea.
when it ends up next to someone I don't want them to be.
Attends le chargeur, désolé. Je veux ça rouge.
So,
Does it give you an option to, just jot down some notes concerning student behavior so that when you're actually doing the seating arrangement, you have those notes handy or somewhere on the screen?
I
Does it give you that option?
I saw a notes option, but I didn't explore it very much. It really just looked like something that you would use just really quickly so that you didn't have to spend time thinking about student placement. So it kind of looked like for like the ideal classroom, or maybe at the beginning of the year before any issues have surfaced, just to get people to work with others.
Right. I guess this might be handy for like, you know, classrooms where we have large number of students. This could be a good way to organize and get the seating arrangement correct.
Mhm.
But I think if you have a class of maybe, I don't know, 12 or 16, I really wouldn't go through the hassle of actually using this in the classroom.
Right. I don't think I would either.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's designed for say maybe 30 and above or something like that.
You can
Hmm.
adjustments to it after. It's not like you signed a contract to make the classroom say that the app said.
Right.
Excuse me, guys. I just need to get my charger on. Give me one
Sure.
second.
Sure. Jamil, which one did you end up doing? Which other app?
There was It was called Too Noisy.
Okay.
That's exactly how it sounds. Uh, it uses, I guess, your microphone and detects the noise level, and it has a meter, and it moves up as the noise level goes up, and it changes the background based on if it's too noisy or not.
Hmm.
I could imagine it would be somewhat useful for young kids, but I can also imagine middle schoolers purposely attempting to the make
The
it go.
noise level go up.
I don't see it being that useful because that's essentially all it is a noise level detector, and it changes the background based on the noise.
Hmm.
It's yeah, I don't see it being that useful. But it may be useful, like maybe during tests or something where everyone has to be quiet. You are able to change the tolerance level, or I'm not really sure what it was called, but if they're doing group work where they're allowed to make a little noise, you can set the tolerance level up so that it doesn't go off.
Hmm.
A little loud, but if it gets really loud, it'll still go off. But nice, but still, I don't really see that. I don't see it being that useful.
Hmm. I also checked out the Super Duper Data Tracker. Um, and it's also used, it is used for student behavior, but it's also used um, to track academic progress. So you you basically put in all your students' names and you can put in your specific goals for those students. So let's say you want them to have like 80% accuracy on answering specific questions. Um, and so you put in the goals for each student and then you can put in how students answered. So it might be like you can click either they got it correct, they had an approximated answer, they got the correct answer once they were cued for it, or they just weren't able to do it. Um, and so you can rank them that way, and so you can see daily how much they progressed towards their goals, and you can print out those results. Um, so the tutorial that I watched on it looked like they used it a lot for therapy sessions in schools. But I thought that it would be especially useful in my field of ESL because we really work on moving from just being able to communicate your message to using accurate language. Um, so this would be a great way to show them how much they're progressing.
Oh,
So I thought that was probably one of the best features, and so that one I would specifically recommend. And it's cool because you can, similar to Classroom Dojo, you can email the results. So if parents are involved, you can email those. But um, like in my department, we I teach I teach the highest level of ESL, like college ready, and I also teach beginners who come with no language skills at all. So for the beginners, we usually work all as a group together to support the students. So I really like that we can send those results to each other because we reinforce concepts in our four classes because we each have a different skill to focus on. So I thought that would be a good collaborative tool between teachers.
What was it called
yeah.
again?
That one was called Super Duper Data Tracker.
I think it could also be useful for students who have like behavioral issues, and if you want to track their behavior and to see what progress they're making and so forth. I guess for me it's a very versatile. You can use it for many different purposes. For behavior ESOL or just for a regular student as well.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, and it's also, like I said, and versatile. It can be used in physical education as well.
Hmm.
So I can
I really
definitely,
liked the four options that it gave. Basically, the student got it right away. The student basically almost had it. They got it once you basically gave them a hint or a cue that they needed to change, and then just they didn't get it at all. So I think it's better than just they got it or they didn't.
yeah. However, I don't really like their website. For me, it's just not well organized.
Oh yeah, no. Their
It's too much,
website wasn't great. The
yeah,
app itself isn't really visually appealing
it's
at
not. There's
all.
too much color here, and it looks like a 4-year-old, little playing game or something.
Exactly. But
So
once I watched a
you don't even
tutorial
know.
on it, it
Yeah, you don't really know where to start looking. It's just each color draws your attention. You know.
yeah.
Mm. So, Megan, what was the third one you saw? You said sand timer.
Yeah, best sand timer, it really is just that. It is a digital sand timer
Hmm.
that has different colors and sounds that it makes. It can go up to 60 minutes. It's basically like any other timer that you'd use in the classroom. Um, I guess if you wanted something that didn't actually have showing, then for whatever reason, that it would be good. But when I was exploring it, I really couldn't figure out what the advantage would be over just a standard timer, other than
Yeah,
it's prettier.
it looks pretty straightforward. Apart maybe from the visual design,
Yeah.
maybe it just might make students feel more, I don't know, involved or concerned in the activity. Just seeing that sand timer in such a visual way just might trigger something in their brains to focus more, or feel like they're pressured by time, something like that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I really don't see, apart from that, I don't see another difference from just a regular stopwatch or timer.
Yeah.
And it might be a distraction as well. I mean, if it's making different noises at different stages, and you've got students who have concentration issues, it might cause some concern. You might even have students looking at it uh, for too long and not focusing on the assignment on hand. So for me, that would be the downfall of using
Hmm.
this sand timer. It's like an alarm clock.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Jamila, would you find any use for the best sand timer in your classroom?
Uh, if it's easy to load up, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Then there's time limits. Normally, yeah, like I just would just use a Google search a timer, so
Mm.
it'd be something different, I suppose.
Of all of these apps, which ones would you guys recommend to someone else?
Um, for me, I think Class Dojo would be number one, just because it seems to be very organized, and I'm assuming there's a way to interact with other professors or colleagues through Class Dojo. I don't know if you have the option to do that. I'm assuming yes.
I
Like
don't.
just different uh, different number of students in different teachers' classrooms and so forth, and just communicate with other teachers about students. Does it allow you to do that?
I would assume it's possible if you can communicate with the parents.
I mean, like just between colleagues, between other teachers that are using Class Dojo as well.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm the only one who uses it, so at my
Ah,
school.
okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, it just why would I would recommend Class Dojo? It seems to be very user friendly. It's nothing really complicated, and it's a nice way, to keep your data organized.
Mhm.
It's pretty straightforward. So yeah, I would recommend that. Sometimes we just want simple things when giving instruction, and we just want to be efficient and effective. And I think Class Dojo fits these categories. And just the fact that it's simple and easy to use and navigate.
Yeah, I would recommend Class Dojo too. The other ones didn't seem all that useful. The data one might be, but I was looking at it and like you said, I didn't like I looked like I had to pay for it or something. I didn't really look at it too much while we were doing this.
The thing for me, I think, as a teacher, you should be, either you should have a very good background in technology and internet and, using computers, if you want to use all these new applications. I think most teachers tend to avoid this stuff and just go with conventional methods of, very simple things of keeping track of data. Because sometimes it might be confusing for teachers, using all these new types of applications with, you know, different information and different approaches from what they're used to do in the past. So for me, the teacher needs to know what they're talking about when it comes to technology. They should have a very good background in it um, in order to use these applications effectively.
Yeah, and
And
some are a
if
lot
people
of them
don't use this,
things
some
too.
of them I understand. They run away from this stuff because I think it's just a fear of getting things complicated or losing information or just not knowing how to use the tool correctly. So maybe they just tend to avoid that and just stick to conventional methods of doing things or stuff that they feel comfortable with. So yeah, that's what I think about it. I mean, if you're not good with computers, you're going to struggle with all these with with all these applications. And in my school, we have some teachers that are like that. They just um, they just struggle with computer use. They were not taught all these new techniques and how to use a MacBook properly and stuff like that. And so when they're introduced with all these different applications, they just struggle.
Yeah, they'd struggle with the teach yourself program too. There's a lot of apps and stuff.
Oh,
I think that I, if I had to recommend one, it would probably be the Class Dojo, just because it has so many tools built in, like the calling on students randomly and the attendance tracker and the timer. Um, but I wish that it also had the creating the goals and tracking students' academic progress, like the what was it, Super Duper Data Tracker had. Um, because Super Duper Data Tracker, as it stands right now, just doesn't look appealing and it doesn't look very user friendly. And I don't mind using technology in the classroom, but I don't want to have to use like 5 different apps to do things, because that's just it's not meeting its purpose of saving me time and being more efficient if I have to. So if Classroom Dojo steps up its game and puts something about academic tracking in there, then I'd probably recommend it even more highly.
yeah, and I mean even the name Classroom Dojos, I mean, sounds relatively more professional than super duper.
Right. Data
You know,
track.
yeah. Like you said, I mean, if they do step up their game, and if they can integrate some of the options that super duper, what is it called? Super duper data
Data
track.
tracker.
Yeah, if they can, integrate some of their options, I think would be a big success. But I mean,
Uh,
like you said, Megan, it's not very inviting, the super duper data tracker.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
has
But I
it?
mean, the idea is there. I mean, I like the idea of
You're not supposed to
uh,
go.
making it work and convincing the teacher to use it.
Mm. Jamil, can you repeat what you said?
I said, has it been a half hour? Because we're not supposed to go over the 30 minutes.
Oh, probably. Let's sign off. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, bye, Ollie.
Bye. So you're gonna send me the link?
Yeah,
so
I'll figure it out and send it to you.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.